in the Bank is this week, my friends. You know the deal. It's time to put our geek brains together and predict the thing and likely get it wrong. But it's always fun because, again, we do have the two Money in the Bank matches, and actually when it comes to the women's one, you could pick any one of these individuals, and I think it wouldn't be a bad guess because we have Rhea Ripley, we have Julia, we have Naomi, we have Alexa Bliss, we have Roxanne Perez, and of course we have Stephanie Vercaer. So it all depends what you want to do. Now, I'm going to go through these one by one. I'm going to have to keep looking at my notes, otherwise I'll definitely forget someone and I'll be annoyed. I think you can take out Julia right away, just because she got in Zelina Vega's face on SmackDown. She was all like, ha, I'm going to come and take your title. It certainly sounds like the Triple H regime is trying to make it very clear the Money in the Bank briefcase is for World Championships only, which I actually think is a mistake. I mean, I'm speculating here, but I think because we can always be so creative, if somebody could really make the argument, I said this last year, let's bring it back again, if Sheamus won the Money in the Bank briefcase, which he won't do obviously, but said I'm going after that Intercontinental title, that ties into his entire story of wanting that belt because he'd never won it, right? So I don't think you want to pigeonhole it, but this year I'm going to say I kind of felt that's what WWE wants to do. So if Julia is going to win that title, then we shift it over there. And I think it's the same for Stephanie Vercaer as well, because she only just got called up on Raw. She did have that big win. You can't actually lose the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think it's impossible. We can't lose the match, right? You just don't win. And if Becky Lynch is going to become the IC champion without wanting to get ahead of myself, I think you could probably do a Stephanie Vercaer versus Becky Lynch feud as well. It kind of also interrupts some other plans that I would have, but WWE does like to be very sort of black and white or very comparative with the red brand and the blue brand. So because Julia just got called up and she's going to go for the quote-unquote mid-title on SmackDown, I can see WWE doing exactly the same for Raw. So I'm taking Julia out. I'm taking Stephanie Vercaer out. But again, if I'm wrong, who the flub cares? Especially Stephanie Vercaer. Who is going to get mad if she wins the Money in the Bank briefcase? And you can make a great argument. Maybe that's why she was brought up the week beforehand, because the decision's already been made. I'm going to make a fool of myself and say no. Alexa Bliss, I just don't think is, because she hasn't been featured enough in that sort of world. I know she went up to Tiffany Stratton and was like, you better worry about me, but it kind of feels like we're about to do something with Charlotte Flair. Now, maybe they become a group, maybe they become best friends, but as you always do have the Wyatt family in the back pocket too, I'm going to take Alexa Bliss out of the equation as well. But then again, if she did win it, and then she is going to have some beef with Charlotte, maybe that's the three-way you go back to. I just think it's too early to go back to the Charlotte-Tiffany Stratton stuff. Well, I don't think we need to revisit it at all, to be completely honest. I think you should have continued the feud going right after WrestleMania. And if Alexa Bliss has that briefcase, Charlotte needs to be dragged back into it. I'm just trying to give you my workings here, right? It's like a maths exam. Roxanne Perez, I mean, potentially yes, potentially no. I mean, she's had no interaction with Io Sky whatsoever. And of course, she hasn't been on SmackDown to yell at Tiffany. So I'm glad she's in this, and I hope she has some great spots to remind you all that she is super good, only 23 years of age. That's the other thing. We got loads of time here. And she's kind of involved with the Judgment Day. I think she needs to get in there and, well, either screw over Dominic or screw over Finn or screw over Liv Morgan. So there's another feud you can do, right? So we don't have to worry about that. When we get to the people, I think, well, the person I'm actually going to, put my bets on. Did I even say her name? Naomi. I'm going to say it here, Naomi. And I'm going to take that and just throw it into the edit if I have forgotten. Her and Rhea Ripley are left. I would make them my two favourites because, of course, Rhea Ripley has made it very clear she wants to go after Io Sky again. And we also tease the Stephanie Vercaer thing, but also Rhea Ripley, even though there's some crazy people out there that say such stupid stuff. Oh, you mean Rhea Hogan? You don't watch wrestling. I'm sorry, you may watch it literally, but figuratively you don't understand how it works, right? I'm just going to say it now. Screw all this being nice and sitting on the fence business. Of course, always be nice. It's massively important. That is not the same thing at all. Rhea Ripley would lose the match tomorrow if she was asked, but she's a super duper whooper mega star and she should be protected, and she should be one of these people that when she does lose, like, oh my gosh, you beat Rhea Ripley, well, you may be awesome too, although she's not going to win here because I'm giving it to Naomi. And it's simply because I think this Naomi character is great. She did lose at WrestleMania. Like, the Jade Cargill program has continued, but you can argue that it doesn't really need to continue. And I just think her winning it and all of a sudden being in this crazy sort of world with a Bianca Belair who has just come back. Jade Cargill has talked about wanting to go after that championship, and Tiffany Stratton. I think there's loads of fun you can do with that, especially because the women's success cash-in rate is 100%, and that's right, I think Naomi should cash it in at some point because of all the shenanigans with everybody else, and Tiffany should point fingers at all of them like, damn it, you did this because you created such carnage. And I say this in the nicest way possible because Naomi is genuinely one of my favourite characters on TV right now. now. Her heel work is tremendous, but she is someone that could hold it for a short amount of time before dropping it to somebody else. I don't want to call it a transitional champion because I think that's unfair, but WWE does need some individuals to have shorter title reigns to tell you never know what's going to happen. We know we did a bunch of longer ones, but now we're trying to shake that up a bit. And I would be upset for Naomi to win and then lose, but sometimes it's just not your night, kid, as John Cena says, but it would be her night because you become Miss Money in the Bank, and also you can take that briefcase and you can wrap the caution tape around it, and WWE can sell that because they love making money. We totally know this. I just think it's the right thing to do. I think it justifies her heel turn, which is the other thing that not annoyed me, but like in the dream world of wrestling annoyed me. I don't like it when people go heel and then lose, because she's like, well, you're an idiot. You completely changed your moral compass and you still weren't able to win, although she did try to kill Jade Cargill. So I suppose, you had to get some revenge. But you can do the Jade Cargill match, you can do the Bianca Belair match, you can do everything with Tiffany Stratton. I think the world title picture should revolve around them, while other people go and do something else before we all come back together again. And I would say, if we are sort of looking towards... she'd probably cash in at a SummerSlam, I would guess, because if Triple H rumouredly doesn't like the Money in the Bank briefcase, he'll probably try and fast-track it. And then maybe she can hold it to the Royal Rumble, and maybe you can do Bianca versus Naomi at the Royal Rumble, which is going to be big next year. And then at WrestleMania, maybe it's Jade versus Bianca. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe it's a triple threat match between those three women, and that would tie back into WrestleMania 39 or 40, whenever it was. My brain is no good. But what an incredible lineup. I would argue probably the best lineup for a women's Money in the Bank that we've ever had. And actually, get rid of the gender, man. One of the most complete lineups totally for a Money in the Bank match, because this is what you want. Jeopardy, my favorite word in wrestling. Every single one of these people could win, and there would be a perfect argument for it. Again, Alexa Bliss, super over all of the time. Of course, you can elevate her back into that. Stephanie and Julia are going to be totally sorted if you do put them on it that quickly. Naomi, we've talked about. Rhea Ripley's probably the biggest star on the brand. Who have I forgotten? And Roxanne Perez, it would be great for her too. She's doing good work, and I guess it could annoy Liv Morgan a bit because she's wanted to go after Io Sky quite clearly. So bravo WWE with this. I think you've done a great job. I'm putting my money on Naomi. That's who I want to win and who I think is going to win. And it's brave saying that because I've got rid of my get out of jail free clause. Said it now. I'm sticking with it. Now make sure you let me know who you think is going to win in the comments. And also, sign up to patreon.com/Simon316. We're doing watch-alongs. I'm having the best time. I think this week's one is going to be the John Cena and Rock taking on The Miz and our Truth match from Survivor Series 2011 to celebrate our truth and maybe worryingly The Miz. Let's see what happens. But I'm just having a good time. And also, my car broke down, so it'd be good. I'm kidding. It did break down. I do need a new car. But that was a joke. Let's just move on. Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. I've given this one away, but at least we have very strange stipulations. If Lyra wins, Becky is never allowed to challenge for the IC title again as long as Lyra holds it. Always kind of a lame stipulation because she's not going to hold it forever. So there's no real oh, you're screwed now, Becky, but I like it, right? It just raises the stakes a little bit. And the better one, if Valkyria loses, she's going to have to raise Becky Lynch's hold down hand, which is the greatest political sentence of all time. Becky Lynch needs to win. And Becky Lynch needs to win terribly, in horrible, shenanigan ways, means the same way that I wanted the New Day to win the tag team titles, and they kind of won it by cheating. I want this to be awful. I want Becky Lynch to win this in a way where I cannot believe you did that, Miss Becky Lynch. All that support we gave you, and that's what you've chosen to done. She's on a roll right now, Becky Lynch. This is far better than the Hill character from a couple of years ago, which I also enjoyed, but this one had Edge, not Adam Copeland. He went to AEW. And she's also raised Lyra Valkyria, who is now becoming way more of a complete performer, which is totally fine, by the way. I don't want to go back to that time where we give someone a month and go, well, they're rubbish. Let them grow. It's really hard to be a WWE superstar. Dream job, but sometimes you do have to learn on the job. So this is just ticking all the boxes. And Lyra winning again would be awesome, because it carries on the narrative of, haha, you can't beat me, Becky Lynch. But I just think we can go in a different direction here. And we can probably do the third match, or the fourth match technically, or the fifth match technically, whatever the flub it would be, at SummerSlam. And before I thought Lyra could win it back there, but I really like my Stephanie Vaquer idea of throwing her into the mix. Don't forget about Lyra, make sure she's hanging around. But those three women kind of circulating each other, maybe with a Roxanne Perez too, I quite enjoy it. And listen, Becky Lynch is the biggest star. Well, she's the biggest star than Lyra, and she's definitely one of, if not the biggest star on Raw, I think. It's more than fair to say. Her being the Intercontinental Champion is not going to be a bad thing. So yes, I am going to say that she is going to win. Lyra Valkyria is going to have to raise her hand. We need to come up with something there. I think the way to do it, especially because at Backlash we did it the other way around, because Becky Lynch beat the crap out of Lyra Valkyria afterwards. I think Lyra Valkyria loses. She's so mad, because of course she lost under terrible means that we've already talked about, that when she does raise Becky Lynch's hand, she should kick her ass, right? Becky Lynch can take that as a bad guy. People will get behind Lyra, and if they don't, it would be cool. It's very Stone Cold Steve Austin-esque. And then we haven't sort of crapped on the stipulation, because I'd like it if wrestling promotions stopped doing that too. Let me believe this stuff. Then everyone's in a good position on Raw, and then yes, maybe we can add a different body in there and see what we can do. This could be the match of the night for sure. They absolutely have great chemistry, and I'm excited about it. And ultimately, as long as I'm excited about something, you've done it right. And think of all the awesome lines we've had. Like Lyra saying, Becky Lynch, you're like a rat with some cheese. It's a strange insult. And saying that if she gets the belt, she's going to poison it, which is very scary. I don't know if you do know this, but if she did do that, somebody would die. We are also getting John Cena and Logan Paul taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. You know how I feel about this match. It does nothing for me. And as I always have to caveat these things, because you may be the first time watching it. I get that comment, Simon, why do you say the same things all of the time? I don't say the same things all of the time. But maybe you've never seen one of my videos before. I want you to know where I do land. If you're into it, I'm super happy for you, because that's what sports entertainment is all about. But I don't know. To me, it just feels like a holding pattern to get both world championships on the show without actually having them defended, but also, hold some other matches off. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, for example. I did like the fact we kind of teased that Logan Paul and John Cena are going to fall out, because John Cena is a good guy deep down in his tum-tum. And really, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. I think Cody Rhodes will beat John Cena at SummerSlam. John Cena will see the light of day. Maybe a quick sort of middle kind of heel face feud with CM Punk, and then he can go back to being a super duper whooper good guy, which would be fun. I'd quite enjoy it. I'm the only person that enjoys the John Cena heel turn, although, yeah, the last few weeks have not particularly gone in the direction that I would have chosen, but it was always going to happen, I guess. I think Logan Paul and John Cena will win this. I think John Cena will pin Cody Rhodes. Is that right? I don't know. The point is, if Cody Rhodes is going to win that championship back at SummerSlam, because I don't think you can hold it off to the Boston show in December, Cody Rhodes will be a mega heel, and WWE doesn't want that. And anyone he takes on, if he's still a heel, he's going to be the babyface. It's just not going to work in his hometown in his last ever match, potentially his last ever appearance. So if that's going to happen, Cody Rhodes can take a fall. I just don't want to see Logan Paul pinning Jey Uso. I mean, Logan Paul, well, maybe Logan Paul could just lose. Maybe Cody Rhodes can pin Logan Paul, and then Cody Rhodes just wins. I mean, why not? He is your top babyface, so he should be able to win a match here and win a match there. I just don't want Cody Rhodes to be pinned twice in the space of a few months. I don't think that's the best idea. So maybe I'm going to go with this. We like to do bold predictions, right? Otherwise, what's the point? You can watch boring predictions on anybody's show. I don't mean they're boring. I mean, I think this person will win because it makes all the sense in the world. So actually, I think Logan Paul, he's going to do something that John Cena doesn't like, which is going to be difficult because it can't be using a belt shot, and it can't be kicking somebody in the penis, because we know that John Cena likes that, which is a very strange sentence. So Logan Paul takes it too far, maybe the brass knucks. I mean, that's the same thing, but I'm trying to think of gimmicks and props they've used before, and there was just a moment of hesitation, which has become the theme of the Cody Rhodes and John Cena feud. And when John Cena hesitates this time, it costs him, much as it cost Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. Cody Rhodes does something, Jey Uso flies in, he takes out Logan Paul, not to dinner, and Cody Rhodes gets the Crossroads 1, 2, 3. So I'm actually going to switch my mind. As we're recording, the babyfaces win. Jey Uso takes out Logan Paul, and yeah, John Cena has stopped Logan Paul from doing something, so he's distracted, which I don't know whether you've known happens a lot in pro wrestling, and wrestlers do not know what they're doing. When they do get distracted, Cody Rhodes hits his finish probably 4 times. I think it's a good percentage of Crossroads to expect. 1, 2, 3, and then we move on to whatever is next for Logan Paul and Jey Uso. Well, it'll be Gunther on the next night. So yes, I'm going to go for that. Obviously, there's only 4 matches on this show, which I don't mind, because there's a UFC at 10 p.m. as well. I think it's UFC 316. Well, yeah, that's fun for nerds. And they're obviously under the TKO banner now, so they're not going to want to run over that. So, if one man of the match goes half an hour and the other one goes 40 minutes, that's already 1 hour 10. Well, they're really not going to get 3 hours out of this, are you? It'd be like a 2.5 hour show. Well, WWE loves all those stupid adverts and promo videos. The point is, I don't think we're going to get another match, or they may announce something on SmackDown. So this can probably be 25 minutes. I mean, the entrances alone, it's probably going to be like 10. And then you have a 15-minute match. So, yeah, the good guys win. But I think that's the problem with this match for me. Who cares? I mean, even Logan Paul beat Jey Uso, I'd be annoyed, I'd be peeved, I'd be like, well, okay, you can do that match again. I'm never going to totally believe that Logan Paul is going to win that championship, especially with Gunther sniffing around and whoever wins the men's Money in the Bank. John Cena can beat Cody Rhodes again, I'd be a bit like, well, that's weird, but I totally believe that Cody will win at SummerSlam. And we've already talked about Cody beating John, and Jey Uso can beat Logan Paul, never going to mind that. I just kind of feel like Logan Paul, and again, if you like him, it's fine. People always go, why don't you like him? He's just not one of my guys. I can't help it, how I feel in my Tootsie Toes. I just kind of feel like he's been thrown into this position for no reason. Like, he lost at Backlash. No, whatever, the Saturday night's main event. So why all of a sudden is he here? And also, I take it personally with people saying that a YouTuber would ruin professional wrestling because, you know, look around you right now. And I wrestle as well. The point is this. Cody Rhodes pins John Cena. Or actually could probably pin Logan Paul. I'm going to switch it once again at the last minute. Cody Rhodes will pin Logan Paul after John Cena does something to stop Logan Paul. You know what I mean? The hesitation will actually screw over that. And it'll be Jey Uso taking out John Cena, tying back into the Royal Rumble. And then, yeah, Cody hits the crossroads 92 times onto Logan Paul, 1, 2, 3. That's my final option, my final choice. Who wants to be a millionaire? Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso wins after Cody Rhodes pins Logan Paul when John Cena does something to distract Logan Paul, who can't handle distractions, because he's now a wrestler. Which brings us to the men's Money in the Bank. Can I read this? Probably not, but it is going to be Solo Sikoa. I love Solo Sikoa. Totally underrated. He's my man. Versus LA Knight, versus Penta, versus Seth Rollins, versus Andrade, versus... Why can't I read who that is? Oh, of course, it's El Grande Americano. That's why I didn't believe it. I'm still not over the fact that we had a qualifier, which was CM Punk, AJ Styles, and a cup of coffee, and the cup of coffee won. Now, El Grande Americano now actually could win this. This is what I'm talking about, surprise victories. I'm so surprised by it, I'm like, well, maybe we're doing that for a reason, but I'm going to throw him out right away. He has so many other matches to do, and I think the gimmick on this night will be he will perform at the other show that's going on, the AAA show, and then he'll perform at Money in the Bank. One is Chad Gable, one is El Grande Americano. I'm sure there'll be some lols, ha, funny. I think I'm happy to get back to Chad Gable at this point. I kind of feel like we've ran this character into the ground, especially because Rey Mysterio got injured. I think if Rey was back by now or hadn't got hurt, this whole thing would be done, and Rey Mysterio would have whooped his ass. It's just gone long in the tooth for me. Once again, if not for you, that's totally cool. So I'm moving him to one side. Very sadly, it's not going to be Solo Sikoa because the greater masses do not want to see Solo versus a Cody Rhodes or a John Cena, or a Solo versus a Jey Uso. I think Solo Sikoa is vastly underrated. I think he's very entertaining. I really get a kick out of Solo. And I'm assuming that the Jacob for 2 feud is coming. Obviously, JC Mateo is there, and Tama Tonga's got to come back, as well as Tangaloa. So that will be Solo Sikoa's future. He'll be doing something with the US Championship. Well, the WWE, they are patient so-and-sos in 2025. There's every chance this feud doesn't happen until 2029, but he's not going to win the Money in the Bank, but I'm super happy he's in this. LA Knight would make me happy. It's just not going to happen. I don't even know who he's feuding with at the moment, LA Knight. Can he go back into the US title picture? Because, of course, Damian Priest has mentioned that, and LA Knight and Damian Priest do have a little bit of history. They've fallen out before. It just feels like it would get over with the crowd. So if you were able to capitalize on it, it would be great. But if I'm being honest and sort of search my feelings like a Jedi, it just doesn't feel like WWE has major plans for him for whatever reason. So I don't think he's going to win the Money in the Bank here. Happy to be proven wrong. Penta, I think, is in it because he's going to be awesome and he's over and people love him, but they're not going to elevate him to the world title level. It feels more likely at some point they're going to put the Lucha Brothers back together, which is what they should do. That would be really, really fun. And then it only leaves us with Andrade. It's not happening. That sounds horrible. But if WWE has been planning to make Andrade Mr. Money in the Bank, you have totally flubbed him up over the last 6 months. He comes and goes. It's very much like his AEW booking. I don't really know why he's here other than to have great matches. He's a superb wrestler, but he has no direction. No, future's a bit strong, but you know what I'm saying. And also Seth Rollins is in this match. It's not a problem that it's obvious, because I think obvious things are good. But Seth Rollins not winning this, when he's going to have a bunch of people out there because he's recruited Bronson Reed, Paul Heyman, and Bron Breakker to do exactly to this, and to not be able to march out onto Raw and saying that's step one of the plan done. Just do the simple things, man. I always tie into a romantic comedy. You want the two leads to get together. I want Seth Rollins to cheat and manipulate his way into becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. And really, he should probably cash it in during that Jey Uso-Gunther match on Monday night and win that championship. We all know that's going to happen. It will pop a rating, as they say. It will certainly make that match feel massive, and it's a wrestling match. It's a world title match on TV, which doesn't happen all that often, and it always works in the ratings, and I do think it will get people interested back in Raw. I don't worry too much about the Netflix rating, one, because I'm not a psychopath, but also I think the awareness of WWE is huge because more people just know that it exists and they're watching it in social media clips because we live in 2025, and maybe that's a way to actually get them to jump into Netflix, at least for a couple of weeks, like Seth Rollins did and I don't mind that. So some people get mad because Drew McIntyre cashed in his super quick last year too, but if Triple H doesn't like it and you have a story option there, you can wait till SummerSlam, sure, got no problem with that either. It will feel bigger on a pay-per-view, a PLE. But if we are trying to front load Raw, why not end it in the same way that Seth Rollins did back at WrestleMania 31? He can turn it into a triple threat match. Everybody will like the callback. I don't mind one of the briefcases being used super quickly when we have the other one in play. But as long as it makes sense and I enjoy it, what do I care? Especially because that Tiffany Stratton one I thought was way too elongated. There were so many options to do it, especially at War Games. So if you feel that it's right, you should just do it. But I'm very confident about this. I would bet my hairline that Seth Rollins does win. And also, it'd be stupid if he didn't. We are not at the point yet where Seth Rollins should be not fulfilling on his promises or not being able to do what he said he's going to do. That's at least 6 months down the line. I need them to be running rampant for a good while. That's the real reason I get mad at the confusion, the distractions, and the interferences, which, yes, does stand for dick when you move those words around. I'm a very, very idiotic man. I apologize for saying that. But that should all be reserved for Seth Rollins' group, so it has a real impact. Oh man, those sons of ditches. They keep doing this. But yes, I think Seth Rollins will win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and maybe a CM Punk is there to try and screw him over. I do not know. But I would have him cash in 24 hours later as well. We may as well make that prediction too. This one feels pretty cut and dry to the point maybe you have it first and have the women's ones last, because it is going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, he should get help from his boys as well. Maybe somebody like Penta is going to win, or LA Knight, just because I think either one of those will get the biggest reaction. Then here's Bronson Reed, here's Bron Breakker, here's Paul Heyman. They cause carnage, throw a bunch of people off ladders. People will go through tables because, again, it is modern day wrestling. And then we move on in the way that we're supposed to. And really, this Money in the Bank show should be over within 3 hours, which I've got no problem with whatsoever. I do believe that as well as NXT last night, if you were going to watch everything from all promotions throughout the rest of the week, there was 24 hours worth of wrestling. Some people would say that's too much. Not me. I'd say bring it on. Why not give me 48? But there is the Money in the Bank card. Again, more importantly than my opinions and thoughts are yours and your predictions down there, and try and come up with some fun stuff as well, because we can all do the dull stuff like we'd already talked about, and I'm happy for all crazy options. Like, you could even say an elephant is going to come in last minute. I mean, Vince McMahon did that once, right? Brock Lesnar wasn't even told to the people in it that he was going to win. I don't think the new regime would do that, and nor should you. That's a really good way to sort of like break the trust of your employees, and that sucks. However, when you are down there leaving a comment, please do like the video, share the video, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can click the video on the screen to hear me talk about Raw and how Seth Rollins is going to cash in his way to Money in the Bank success. Otherwise, it's grillermind.com/Simon. You can Simon get 10% off, and often way more percentages. They're so good with deals. It ships worldwide. These are the fitness supplements I do use. We talked about the Patreon. Would love it if you could come on. It's $5. I try to keep it cheap, and I'll keep it more cheap if that's what you want. Strange thing to say, but I'd rather people joined up. Otherwise, super cheap cameos too. Search for Simon Miller there to get personalized video messages, and it's Father's Day soon, which is why they are so cheap. I do a deal. Otherwise, Simon Miller 316 on social media for all my wrestling stuff, and same with TikTok. Simon J. Miller on there. Big Cartel and Pro Wrestling Tees for merchandise. And that's it. Enjoy Money in the Bank, my friends. It comes but once a year. And you could say it's in the big five, right? I think even if Triple H doesn't like it, we enjoy it as fans because it can open up the doors for a superstar's future. So yeah, get a kick out of it. Try to ignore the nonsense. Try and keep a smile on your face because that's what life is all about. I really do appreciate your time. You're lovely people. And I'll see you tomorrow.